1 pound? Where are you going to be Pesach? In the regular? Huh?
Where it was last year.
So really, you don't need matzah. They're going to have matzah for you.
But I want to have, because I want to be able to trade with the tool. Number two, if I can get some extra items I can use for the Seder.
Fine. Ask him to put it on the okay?
I should ask him what?
Put it on the list.
That I want extra items.
Right after the shit. Okay. Mishnich
I
Nasada.
can get one gun space.
Yeah. Tell him he has to put it on the list.
You're on. Yeah, that's what Benjamin. Whole week.
Rabbi Yitzchak, we're learning now the kids of Shulchan Aruch and the Hilchos Purim. Oh, okay. Mishnich Nasada or Marbim Besimcha. Yisrael sheyesh lo dinim dvarim in goy. Yishpatim b'chodesh zeh.
What sif are you on?
It's in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and it's in the way in the end on Siman Kuf Mem Aleph. Siman Kuf Mem Aleph.
Okay, all right.
How you can make a baseball phone? Siman Kuf Mem Aleph.
Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam v'adarei.
Amen.
So, there's a whole shakla It says if you have a thing with a goy, you should try to get the judgment done in Adar, because the Muslims of Eden are very strong in Adar. There's those that say that it means not only Adar, also Nisan. There was once a Chassidish Rebbe.
Fighting a ticket, you should try to do it in these months.
Definitely do it in Adar. There was once a Chassidish Rebbe. There was a Yid that he loved Adar. Adar, he would get drunk every day. From Reish Chodesh Adar, every day he was drinking, every day he was getting drunk. So the Chassidish said, Chechnach Rebbe, and I'm not pronouncing it away. Chechnach Rebbe. So he said, the Yid is gerecht. That's doch gerecht. He's right. It says that Hippel-Pur, hu agero, miyoim liyoim, chodesh l'chodesh, and it came to chodesh name also, chodesh Adar. It doesn't say that it was a special day. It says that it fell out on chodesh Adar. So why did he go to Achashverosh and say to Achashverosh that the Chas v'Sholom in one day? Because Haman wanted to hedge his bets. Maybe Haman not finster him up all, and the Yidden are going to have a Yom Tov, and he hates the Jews, so the Yidden are going to celebrate for 30 days straight. At least just give him one day. Don't give him another day. So that's why he wanted to do it in one day. Hat gesagt, the Chechna Rebbe, der Yid is gerecht. He outsmart Haman. Because it's the whole Chodesh. The Gzeira was in the whole Chodesh, really. Elamai Haman, the Geven Karg, he didn't want the Jews to celebrate the whole Chodesh. So we'll celebrate after Tzalach the whole Chodesh. Okay.
How we know that Achashverosh is always headache.
How?
Achashverosh.
Achashverosh, very
You're
good.
smiling.
Oh, very good. Okay, here. Thank you. See, very Mordechai Esther, Niklo Yehudim, Mishloish Asal Chodesh Adar, Lamed al Nafsham, Lirok, Meveim, Boy, Tzrech Lavak Shrachem, It's Hashem Yisborich, Keshamoy, Shiazam, Tzina Kasho, Yisrael Mamocham, Esanu, Shiazam Hashem, V'gam Moshe, V'gam Miyam Shinilch Mamalok Yisana, V'im Kein, Mistam, V'gam Mordechai, Yisanu V'yam Gimel, Yud Gimel Adar. The Farshim are trying to figure out what's Tainus Esther. What's Tainus Esther? We know that Rebbe has a moed the Gevort about Tainus Esther. But this is the standard words from the kid that the Kid Shulchan Aruch says that the Yidden were Mechama. So just like we find the Moshe Rabbeinu fasted the day they fought with Amalek. Also Mordechai Esther, the same thing. The Rebbe says a beautiful word. And why is it called Tainus Esther? So it says because they were in the Mechama. It was also for them to fast. But she was not in the Malchama. It was mutter for her to fast. So she was able to fast. She was the only person who was able to fast. Kedei lisker sha'boyre yizborach shmoi roye v'shomeya tefilus kol ish be'ez tzarose. That you have to know that the Eibishter hears and sees every yid when he has a tzara. Kasha yisana v'yoshev al Hashem v'cholavove k'mo she'otso la'avesenu b'yom emohen. That we have to remember that when if Chaz v'Shalom we have a tzara, the Eibishter knows, the Eibishter sees. So we have to do tshuva and scream to the Eibishter. Chazal didn't make it as strong as the all the other taniyas. All these people have to pay it back. Regular person has to fast unless an exception. B'yom Yudalad Adar Purim. In Chol Purim B'yom Rishon. Magdim l'sanas b'yom Chamish. Yesh oz bismillah. In the unusual case that the Tainus Esther was supposed to say in Shabbos, it got bumped up to Thursday. So if it's a bris milah, yes, as a suda balayla. But Sunday, b'abiyah mutar malachal b'bayom. Ben tzerchim l'sanas b'yom Shishi. V'lo dem achar sheshachar v'achal b'yom Chamishi. Even by mistake, it was he had. So he has to fast the next day b'yom Shishi. Okay. Now, this is not the quiz of this year. It's not so negay. We won't talk about this. Because it's a cover to the Megillah. A person should come to shul to hear the Megillah with big Shabbos. When he comes home, the house should be set up nice like for Yom Tov. The table is set, not like a weekday, not like for Shabbos. You set up the table, you make your beds nice.
What is that? Mita Mutzat?
Mita Mutzat.
Not always the Mita Mutzat?
No, you run out in the morning, you gotta go to work. Oh, you go flying out the door, and your pillow is flying.
It's not Mapa Mutzat for the tablecloth? Yeah?
No, Mita Mutzat. Yeah, but the whole house has to be, not only the, and also the Mita. You have to realize in those days, it's not like today where we have a room and for a dining room and a room for the living room and a room for the kitchen.
Some room was
and a room for the bedroom, right? So in a regular day, a person went flying out of the house, and the pillow goes flying and the blanket goes flying. It doesn't matter. The Shabbos, you come home, has to be mesudar, has to be nice. Everything is made up. It's nice. And same thing, Lekoved Purim. Arvis lachesh man es kadosh shalom tiskabel. We können some Megillah vakem at kodesh. Shuv mizvel lamatzech la yeles shacher shenemer al Esther v'sham nemer al kai ekra v'nem v'nemer al mikra Megillah. The Amri Shum alei v'chayv mikra Megillah v'alal v'shanoi sebiyem shenemer al kai ekra yoyim v'loy tana v'alay v'loy demiyah samach levat kodesh yeshiv tilis Yisrael. So the pasuk talks about, and from there we learn the Megillah is balayim and balayla. Achar kadosh shalom v'lo tiskabel. Yurli, you can take here. There's a booklet right here.
Discovered is after over the year.
Right. Belotus Mitzvah Shabbos, Vinoim, Bat Kodesh, Kadosh Shalom, Belotus Kav, Yitn Lchem. That's not negated this year. Nergem Litin Kodim Purim macht es mean Hamadvei Akvo Ba'Yisem Malkom Ba'Yisem Man Zechel macht es Shekel Shnoisem Ba'ad L'Tzerich Karbonas Atziba. Why is the minig? Because Be'achad Ma'adar is Mashpim Al Ashkolem. And we know, because I'll say that the Eibush said to Haman, that the Yidden Shkolem got me for your Shkolem. So that's why do we do it? So there's several, there's a shita that Matanas Lav Yoinim, your Yoitz, if you do from Yud Aleph. Why? Because we spoke about it already on Sunday, that the Megillah Nekraz, Yud Aleph, we basically deal with Yud Aleph, because from Yud Aleph already is the time to do the mitzvahs of Purim. So therefore, even though it's Erev Purim, but it's already shaykhs to the mitzvahs of Purim, and so it's a quasi matanas lavyonim. It's a shtickle matanas lavyonim. So nachamal, noigem litten koydem Purim sefei, noigem litten koydem Purim macht es man mit ber kvul beis maken beis es man. Zechel macht es shakh shon es mad und zerkel on sibur. Minig litten shalosh macht es schon a bash kizes es shalosh pam truma. The noisen ber of the kids Megillah. the Lapoil, because the Magen Avraham brings that our minig is to give it before mincha. Give it before mincha. Okay. Lapoil, the person didn't give it before mincha, so give it any time. And Machalker no Salanim, cotton potter, unless he made it tonight and he said that I'm giving it for my son, but I'm not planning to give it again. Necessarily giving it again. Yeah.
By Bet Torah, when I used to daven there, I go listen to the Megillah. By the Aron Kodesh, put a table, big basket, and they write down like $10 per person, and they have a sheet, you write your name, and then the rabbi take it and give it to them. And it's a beautiful minhag. You see everybody waiting in line.
Very nice.
Only $10, that's it.
Per person. If you
Okay.
have 5 people in the house, it's $50.
Okay. Not bad. Not bad.
They know the shekel, no motbea like us.
Peretz, we got Machzah shekel?
We have silver coin over here.
Oh, very good.
We have
There were
silver coin.
3 new ones.
Silver,
I
okay.
gave my other, after I did all my others, after I sold my others to the Shumba Khal's son, Mark's son, remember?
Huh?
Yeah, I sold my others to the Mark's son.
Oh, okay.
Kennedy have
And he made a billion event.
Now that they have a Psachashivas?
That's what they are.
Huh?
It's the Kennedy half dollars.
That's what they are?
Yeah, 1964.
Okay.
90%
real silver.
silver.
Uh-huh.
Now they're there.
Okay.
The only cost was TV.
$15 each? Oh, that's it?
Yeah, because we done a, but in a story that was going to get
Hmm.
It's the same coin like Pidyon Rabbeinu. Can
No.
you do the shekel?
No, you don't have to. Machzah shekel, just he said, how much
How much is
no, a set of 5 sloim is valuable today, about $100 something, change. Like we said in Chanukah, you don't have to say over Shemanis again, but you could add it and kind of sort of eventually you could say then Yirotzen Sheyaslan Isim Kamoshes Hasen B'Memor Tcheves B'Shushan Abira. Chayiv Kolodem, like basically like the end of benching, like by Mimorim Yilamdu or Rachman, the last Rachman.
That's a day in Puri. You forget that on this thing. Say it again.
It's a problem.
Chayiv Kolodem Venish Lishmoy Kriyas Megillah. The girls should go to shul. They made them have to read for them in the house.
Except on Chabad.
They're not involved in Chabad. Kriya Shalayla. Yeah, Megillah Shalayla. Also, the Koritza Kodim says Kechab. Remember, a big machloikis of this takas or the case. Shchnoch holds that you're allowed to from plagamencha. But there's a big shaklamatariya in the Achronim. Yeah. So there are those that say, look, can't compare it to Maidiv. Maidiv is man shchiv. So you could say some people like to go to sleep early. Torah never said that Laila is man krishma. B'shach b'chov kamecha, not b'shosh v'nei adam sheich, b'shosh v'nei adam kamer. But Lagabe Megillah Anshknas Agdola said there has to be chayv l'kroisa b'layla v'shanoisa b'yoyim. We learned from the pasuk, like we said before, which is v'alakai ekra yoymam v'loisana v'layla v'loidumiyali. So it's a din in Laila. So din in Laila has to be b'layla. Laila is Laila. So good. So the pearl, that's our minig. That's our minig. Ava mishum estar have a machmas tainis. Yoch litum k'tzas kedem nagila ken kofa kedem k'lazik naat nechulshus a tainik. That if a person has a chulsha from the tainis, that he could drink. And it's a very fun way. I spoke about it a few times. I gave a shir.
Better to drink coffee.
I know. I was saying it's like a funny thing because the velt is not so makpid machlal not to eat before a mitzvah. Chabad l'moshel, the minig is to be makbid. You don't eat before shofar. Any mitzvah that's especially if it's a mitzvah that's mizman l'zman, a mitzvah chaviva, that
You do the mitzvah first, then
you do the mitzvah, then you eat. Well, and most kiddush are not that way. They make a kiddush before tkir shayfa. But this is a minhag pashut, it's Rosh Hashanah, that you don't eat before Kriyas Megillah. But pashtus is because it's not stam a mitzvah chaviva. This is a mitzvah super duper chaviva. I'm just explaining minhag olam. Why taka?
but drink you are.
So they say if a person feels lahachzik mat machul shesatainas, okay. So then it says we said here b'derech klal tzeisak echavim. There are those that wait for tzeisak echavim a little later, but the emes is, I mean, havad eloisefalai. I mean, there is a shit you can go from plaga mencha. So we don't know. Someone was on Rabbeinu Tam who says you have to wait 72 minutes. Could be Rabbeinu Tam holds you out of here. It's not the rice. It could be he holds you can do from plaga mencha. So whatever. We were kaveya here this man 42 minutes after shkia, which is memutza. That's really what should be in New York. This man of tzeisak echavim. If you hold the shittas hagoyim, the poil biz the balkoira mach the brochem is maget sechadrei. Vahibe mechashveder starts 45, 46, maybe even 50 minutes after Shkiyas Achama, so it's Choloshim Sofik Cloud. You can't say L'chol HaDeis. L'chol HaDeis you'd wait 72 minutes, but
I think only the real Hasidim hold 72 when it comes to these type of things.
No, not a Megillah.
like if you go to buy in Borough Park, are they going to wait 72
No,
minutes?
no, not the Megillah, no.
I don't think so.
Huh? Nobody waits. Nobody waits.
But Shabbos here.
Shabbos,
Yeah,
Shabbos,
that's
But
Right.
no wisdom to manage the tzibur for nothing.
So we have it 42 minutes. Mitzvah min hamufcher l'shmoya kriyas Megillah b'beis hakneses. B'mokum shesh roi v'anoshim. Shum de b'roi v'am hadas melech.
No, because you said before that you're allowed to wait for the little kid in the house. You say no, but it's a mitzvah to go.
What does it? A mitzvah to go to shul. L'chol ha'bochas yir l'shmoya zeh v'inyan asor. I, you know, as a kid, I remember a cute like Megillah or something. You know, but it was a story about the Vilna Gaon when it gepravet Golos, and you know the story. No, that he he came to town already finished reading Megillah, so he wanted to have a minyan. So he got in the shul, you know, they said, you want to make a minyan? How much are you going to pay us? So he took all the money he had and he split it to 9 and he gave it. What's the problem? The problem was that he gave it to them before he started reading. Disappear. Exactly. As soon as he started to read, they disappeared. Okay. Anyway.
He was in Bed-Stuy.
Huh?
He was in Bed-Stuy.
He was what?
In Bed-Stuy.
He was in Bed-Stuy. Yeah, exactly. L'chol ha'poches here l'shmo Yosef v'minyan asora. V'im yef shel l'kreis v'minyan yikreis kol yachad tach Megillah kshev v'abrach shel panem v'im echad yedei l'kreis v'shalem yed mikre zeh shehu yedei v'hem nishma v'yetz ma'af b'she'en ma'asora. Have a brach shel acharei en Yosef v'lak b'asora. In order to make the brach acharei, you must have a minyan. You could say in order to say Shem Malchus, you have a minyan. Minyan b'chol Yisrael shekoyed in the koyed mitech Megillah krucha. Poish careful daf al daf k'may geres m'ashnikere geres apurim. Shem enim tzirech l'poish. The problem is you are a poish. Koyed Megillah b'miyam alav m'varach l'shalosh brachas. Mikrim rishos nisim shechion. The Sfardim don't. The Sfardim make by night shechion and they don't make shechion by day. Lache krios akorche kulam anich lefonim v'morche bich sarav esrivenu. V'im imavo keres Megillah varach acher tzabrachos mishum bich shechion. Bich shechion shem mechamen gam al mitzvahs mishloach monas matanas lavyonim v'sodas Purim. That's a shakla v'tarya. So, but this by Ashkenazim that they have, I think we spoke about it once, that by Ashkenazim that we make the so you could be machaven, but by Sfardim don't make by day. So it's so you can't, because there's a whole shakavatay if you should make a shechionu on Mishloach Manas Matanas Purim. Like why not? It's a mitzvah comes only once a year, but there's there's a whole shackle of the poil. We don't find the Gemara should say it. Why not? Why not? The kids are hin tzadik. So therefore, the Poskim Achronim said the simple eitzah is that the b'shas you make the bracha on the Megillah that you have in mind for the other ones.
Abba, in our building, they have Abba Bernstein there. We do Megillah 8:15 in the evening and 10:30 in the day. They have like, my wife called my daughter, they have like 40, 50 women there.
Amazing.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Very nice. Very nice.
I was in neighbor, somebody said, I find somebody to do Matan Savion, really help me. So he was okay, let me do it. He said, no, I need it for next year.
And what?
I need
Okay,
it
so
for
it's about sorry, Sheikh Havan Lahoitzias at Sibir Gam al Mitzvahs Elim. When he makes the bracha. Good, it's Megillah Tzarel Havan Lahoitzias Kol Hashem. Yeah, Mashemeh Tzarel Havan Lahoitzias Lishma Kol Teva V'Teva. So Hoshak V'Tari, read Mamish if the Mal has to be this way. Okay, Lachatchila for sure, they both have to have come on. He has to have come on to be moitzed them, and they have to be have come on to be yoytz.
Okay, microphone.
Oh, so the original poskim, a lot of the poskim originally said there is no problem with a microphone. A lot of the poskim said that the microphone is not a problem. We're talking about big poskim. I'm gesagt that there's no problem. I remember. I remember I gave a sheet about it in the beginning of COVID. This was so I remember we had because at that was fun. I mean, fun.
We had no choice.
I'm saying, I'm sure for Goyim this was a big trauma. For us, it was, it was another heichetimtza to this sugya and that sugya and another sugya. But one of the sugyas we covered on the Kol Yom Rishon that we did on Zoom, the Rebbe was vehemently opposed to this whole thing. He said that the Gedolei Yisrael that they didn't know how a telephone works. The lomdesum ze gewusst, but the metzias. Right. Oh, he was a mumche god. Right.
What are you talking about?
If you could hear on the telephone the Megillah, and the Rebbe's the shitta was you're not hearing a person's voice. It's like you're hearing
The second half,
Right.
not direct.
So anyway, that's the answer. According to Megillah, tzarech l'chavan lo yitzikol ha'shomim, gam ha'shemei tzarech l'chavan lo tzit l'shma kol teva, afilim rak teva achas lo shomeni yotzeh. So you have to make sure that you don't miss a word. That you should be quiet. The emissaries, it depends on every shul. I mean, if you have a Balkoida which reads it mila b'mila like we Baruch Hashem have here, and he's medayik very strongly in the words, with that call you don't miss any words. Hakoida tzar Hashem es aseres min havam v'gam aseres teves aseres hakol man Hashem achas loidi shekulam nergo v'neit lokech v'noigan lachatchil l'machamesh meisish hakol man Hashem achas b'dev dafil hiftzek b'aseres min havam yotza ma shenoigan mixes makem shekol hakol emer aseres min havam ena minig noch. So the Velt Lapoil is not knowing this way. The Velt is not. The Kol. So the Rogatcher had a beautiful chap. I love to tell it over here when we come to Purim, because it's balabatish, but it's brilliant. He said that what happens when the Balkoida reads, I'm Yoitza from the Balkoida. So the Shatz is Moitzi, everyone. Shemeya Ka'oina. Shemeya Ka'oina. Good. But the Neshima Achas, his Neshima, my Neshima are not the same Neshima. Chazal said that you should read it B'Neshima Achas, Lohidia, the Goydel Hanes, that they were all killed, all Taseres Bnei Aman, were killed as one Knak. So how could he read it B'Neshima Achas? I didn't read, I heard it B'Neshima Achas. It doesn't work. I'm not Yoitze. The Neshima Achas, you're not Yoitze. That's why we have to read it. And brilliant answer. The other ones is that there's a kshoimer akoyde balada who you know that they be a kolik shmatz chalikin anes kshoimer geretz akoysi and aneas amagila. Mi sheyesh lafano magila psulo echumesh lo yikrem shliach tzibur ki hu koyde ki im hu koyde en yochel If it's possible, Megillah is psula. You better not say the words. Even if he's listening really to the Balkodes, it makes no difference. But someone else maybe will be in his Balbal. If he was reading from the Megillah, what's the difference who he hears it from? We can't say a Shum Adam al Peb Lashlet Tzibber. Lachen Oisa Arba Psukim Gula Oimerim Makol Bekaram Tzach Shlet Tzibber Alachzal Lekroisim Tach Giluk Sheda. Ataka, there's 4 psukim that the minig is that we read it loud, like Hud Moisayr Vasamach Falasas and the Ekar. Good, but you have to read from Megillah also. So he has to, everyone says it, and he says it also. There's a story I once, it's a beautiful story that was published. Where was it? That Ayid in a labor camp near Buchenwald, that left behind, maybe he's already not living in Bnei Brak, and he was unbelievable. He had a chush aksiva unbelievable. So when the Nazis found out, they gave him a job besides his 12 hours, the shift that he was working, whatever. That Eden were building over their parts for the Nazi planes. So he had a job to paint signs. So once when he finished the job, there was like a half a thing of paint and whatever. So he hid the paint. There was a Choshev Erov that was there in the camp, and this was 1945. It was found out that he has paint, he has ink. So he said, maybe you could write a Megillah. I'll read for you the Megillah. So he said, but where are we going to get parchment? So they found there was some machine that was like measuring whatever, and it had like a thin, like you have a cash register, you get a receipt. It was a receipt measuring the heat or the whatever of a machine, and it was slowly coming out from the machine. This like roll of paper. So to Bislach, they stole enough paper, thin paper like this, and at night when he finished working his 12-hour shift, he wrote. So this Rav who knew Megillah Mila b'Mila Mamish helped him, and they wrote a Megillah, and after the war he took a check. They didn't miss a word. It was a whole Megillah. And the night of Purim, he read the Megillah. So then they had a big discussion. It's unbelievable to think of this. That some people said, you can't make a bracha. It's a joke. It's on paper. But this Rav said, no. He had some lumdus or whatever. He felt it doesn't matter.
Package to get them.
Yeah. He said, no. It's a kosher Megillah, and he himself made the bracha. He made the bracha, and he read the Megillah. It was like very thin, and he had like this little box that he had it after Purim. He rolled it up and he put it in this, and he kept it with him. And never someone Yid died, but he survived. And the Yid went up to Eretz Yisrael, and he lived in Bnei Brak. And every year he would bring with him to shul. He would bring this Megillah that he had, this thin Megillah. Unbelievable story. Let's continue. Mishakvar Yotze B'Kriyas Megillah Koyde L'Hoitze Ach Zeh Shuhu Tzarech Lotzes Yodei B'Atzman L'Varach L'Varach L'Varach. Going to read Megillah like 10. I'm going to send Mitzvayim. Like we have here, Baruch Hashem, a few groups of people. We go out. We have to go to. There's a home from Hask, a home from Oil. There is a few old little ladies here and there that call up usually. Yeah, so if anyone would like to lay, let me know. That's a big schus. Bottom line is, when you come to read for some Megillah, you ready with Yoitza, they should make the bracha.
If they know.
But if they know it, they don't know it, you make the bracha. Next, if you zayin, b'Shabbos she'en Purim muter l'taltal Megillah, k'mokem b'chol Purim imav v'nava b'Shabbos Megillah b'Eisek Knesset, fil b'yeshum etkanes b'erev b'nusher davet k'meicha b'Shabbos l'chol. Sif Yudches, Tzibu she'en lahem shleit tzibur shach l'knes Megillah matayim karo yoch likar gam below time. Just as long as you say the words, you have to say the words right. It's a different meaning. It's a big difference. Neufel is hoive. Nofal means lashon ava. So it's not the same. I feel about the evidence. you're allowed to put Nekudas and Taimim into a Megillah. V'hochi odif mima sheikar metoch achem metoch chumash balachish. She'akoyim metoch chumash afilo koyim balachish and yochel achav and daite. Shishma ashlet tzibur. V'nut shekar rak metoch chumash and yoytze. V'mir kach that he got in his balkul tzarech lachz l'shem metoch Megillah ksheira. Therefore, if you have no choice, you don't have a balkoida that knows that you should put Nekudas and Taimim into the Megillah. We have such a Megillah. Unbelievable. Isaiah, after the war, was in Lodge, and he said it was like the anti-Semitic. He said, you can't imagine. Goyim came, there was Yidden in the train. This was after the war. How many Yidden lived in Lodge? Lodge was a year of envious at all. Talking about Lodge was, I don't know, numbers, maybe 2/3 of the city were Jewish Pashas. It's like there were more Jews in Lodge, maybe percentage-wise, than Jews in Brooklyn. It was like, and they came, and they were like going like this on their neck, like they're going to kill every Yid. Anyway, Mazeda said that he went to shul there, and it was a churva. He found one Megillah, and he has Adion. Allah Shalom, Mazeda passed them. My Baba has a Megillah. Has a Nekudas time. Someone sat there with a pen, entire Megillah. It has Nekudas v'time. And that's the deal. It's kosher. It's kosher. You shouldn't do it. But if you're going to have someone untersagen, it's kedai better that you should do it. It's taka kosher Megillah, but to see it, it's already getting old, this Megillah. It's an old Megillah. And some of them is a little smudgy, but the taka has Nekudas v'time. Guy sat there with a pen, and he put all the Nekudas in the time. Unbelievable.
Somebody asked me if he doesn't know how to read, but he put the headphone, somebody who read the Megillah, and he said aloud what he heard in the headphone. He looking like, but he's saying what he heard in the
In the Zman Shulchan they couldn't give the same.
I told him it's 100% kosher.
It's a shakla v'tarya, but we say because of the chavivus of the mitzvah, usually we say we can't hear two voices. But we say by a mitzvah which is coming mizman l'zman and they're very chaviv to you, you could pay attention. You could pay attention to Trei Koli.
No, he heard
Right.
the voice and
Maybe he has to hear himself too. But
Right.
the answer is yeah, that you could be yotze. Va'atos yikra koyre balpeh yom alafon balach b'tei chumash. Meila megillah klal shachos inyan shalom. V'shachos atchila yisoif. Koyre b'tei chumash kalach b'nat v'mevartam. V'yochid she'en l'rak megillah b'tzula koyre b'lo bracha. Okay. We'll stop there. We'll mitzvah Shem. We'll be mamshech. Maybe Sunday or whatever. Maybe Sunday morning. We'll finish off the. Okay, David shall helfen, and we say there's something very special about the Megillah. The Megillah is the Ein B'Teila Filo L'Asad Lovi. So David shall helfen that by the time we get to Megillah, finish the Megillah, we should already be in the Zman of L'Asad Lovi. Yeah, please. Thank you. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Melech haolam, Pasha Tzarah B'Tzarah, Kol Hadas V'Cheres V'Hem Nefesh, Kol Chaver Chalim.